Today I decided to add something new onto my blog, and that is I decided that I should talk through why I'm posting certain posts during the week, what posts are coming up in the next week, the motivations behind certain interviews, and then just a general chat about certain items or certain questions that have been asked throughout the week. So let's start off with the first thing, is that I've been asked, and there's a lot of stuff on it on YouTube, where people say that self-help, self-development or business development courses are a load of rubbish. Well, it depends on what you take out of it. It depends on who you're listening to. It depends on a lot of factors. So I have certain friends of mine that are so headstrong, so positive, so such big go-getters that they don't believe in listening to others or listening to others' opinions, and it's been very, very successful for them. So they are the kind of people that will come back and say this is a lot of rubbish. Other people who haven't achieved things, haven't listened to, haven't followed through on some of the talks they've listened to, or haven't resonated well with speakers, will also say the same thing. However, I believe that there are a lot of positives, and I believe it depends a lot on you. So the first thing I say is that it depends on what you get out of the speaker. There are certain basic ideas that the speakers will all talk about, certain formulas they all talk about. They talk about it in their own ways, and it's up to you to find out what those kind of formulas are and how they suit you. Don't just go and follow somebody just because you feel like following somebody or just because they sound good. Have a look and see what are they actually talking about and how that actually suits you, and if it suits you at that moment in time. So get out of it what you need. There's no one speaker that fits all. I find that certain speakers don't resonate with me, but the person next to me finds that speaker absolutely phenomenal. They love what that speaker has to say, and they get a lot out of it, and they actually go forward with those ideas and actually become very successful. Meanwhile, I sit and look at them and think absolute rubbish. However, on the other way around, I see certain people that I think are phenomenal, and I get so much out of it, and I learn so much out of it, and the person next to me is saying, what a quack, that person has no idea. So pick and choose and don't follow blindly. See what you need. I think one of the things that I think maybe the best way to understand it is, like, if you look at my kind of story for me. So I started off knowing that there was a problem. Personal life was fine, but business life I was struggling a bit. We're getting huge goals, being very successful, but I wasn't feeling comfortable. So this is the personal development side of it. The first year I started going through to courses, listening to what they had to say, and that just verified that there were certain things that I'm accepting in life that I shouldn't be accepting, and I needed to change those things. The second year, instead, I was actually more focused. I decided who I liked listening to, who I wanted to listen to, who had the right path for me and who didn't have the right path for me. I'm one of those guys that, suck it up and get over it kind of people. So if somebody sits there and commiserates with you and feels so sorry for you all the time, that kind of person doesn't work well with me. That person works well with somebody else. So that's why I like a John DeMartini, where this is what you want, these are your values, go for it, work towards it, get it done. Don't find excuses. I like that. I work very well with that. But I do, on the other side of things, understand a person like Brandon Bayes, who is more compassionate. And yes, I mean, to a certain degree, I do enjoy that side of it. And I do follow Brandon Bayes very closely, because she is right about her emotional side of things and how to focus, how to not ignore your emotions. And if you do ignore your emotions, it builds up certain problems for the future, health problems, etc. So I found the people that suited me, and I started working towards those people and working towards those goals, and I found which plans suit me and suit my way of life, and how can I find it structured. Listen, at the end of the day, if you're not being successful, you're not getting somewhere in life, you're doing something wrong. You might know what the way is to go forward, but you need somebody to tell you sometimes. Sometimes you need a plan. Sometimes you need a structure that you don't have in place. And once you've got that structure in place, you become a lot more successful. So there are ways of finding it, and a lot of these guys tell these big stories about how they didn't succeed, and from not succeeding they found something that made them succeed. Why wait until that point? Why don't you solve yourself now? Why don't you look for help now? There are a lot of ways, a lot of systems, yes, there are a lot of people that are fake out there, but there are a lot of good people out there. So look for those guys and see who works with you. I mean, I'm putting out people that work with me. This is what I like. This is how I enjoy it. So hopefully you can take from my lessons and you can learn and actually go forward in your own way with those kind of people. Another one that I found quite interesting is on the mind power side. So you got John Keogh and you got Robin Banks that all talk about mind power and about how to think positively, how to get a positive result out of things. But there's one part that a lot of people miss out on, is that they miss out on the part where these guys say acknowledge the negative, acknowledge your feelings and emotions. If things are bad, they're bad. If you're feeling down, you're down. It's up to you to decide how you're going to react to that, how you're going to get the positive out of that, and if you are going to stay down. So yes, things work out, things don't work out. Be honest with yourself. Oh, I'm having a bad day. You wake up after being in lockdown for so long, you're feeling upset, you're down. Accept it. Don't sit there, jump out of bed and think your body's feeling down and say, I'm feeling wonderful, but you're not. Acknowledge that you're feeling down. Acknowledge that you're going to make a change during the day, and acknowledge that this is the lowest you're going to be, and you're going to build upwards from there. There are actually two very, very interesting speeches by or instructors that talk about this, and that's Michael Johnson and Michael Cohen. They talk about the fact that you actually have to acknowledge also the negatives. We have negatives and positives. We can't always be on a high. We can't always be in an adrenaline rush. We have to accept that we have our lows and we have our downs. It's how you react to it, how you take advantage of it, how you grow from it, what you do with that is very important for you. So, that's another place where people say, like, the self-development part or the mind power part is a lot of rubbish too, because they're not accepting that they do have the downs. I mean, what Michael Johnson and Michael Cohen say is that if you're not acknowledging that you're feeling down, so you wake up, you're feeling bad, you turn around, you say, oh, I'm really feeling positive, the person next to me is positive, what's wrong with me, why am I not feeling positive? And it's a downward spiral that you continuously, that you hit, and you keep on thinking negatively, and it actually comes through negative for you. So accept that you're having a bad day, accept that you're having a good day on the other hand, accept everything in life and acknowledge it and work forward from there. How are you going to change it? How are you going to move forward with that? What's your next step? So this week we had our usual Motivational Monday. We had and various posts during the week. Now, Motivational Monday was about a 14-year-old who started her own business. It's a great thing to see. It's not something if you're 60 and you see it and think, oh, I should have started when I was 14. Well, it doesn't matter if you're 60 and you're starting a new business, you're 14, you're starting a new business, you're 60, you're starting a new life, you're 14, you're starting a new life. It doesn't make a difference. As long as you start, as long as you find a point where you want to start, you want to move forward, you want to get a new position in your company, you want to get a new role in your company, you want to study something different. I've actually got a story from a friend of mine who, it wasn't actually him, it was his brother. His brother studied to become an electrical engineer, and he hated it from the first day he went to university to the last day. He's still qualified, an incredibly smart guy, did exceptionally well at varsity, and passed and went into work as an electrical engineer and still hated it. However, his biggest passion was to become an astronomer. So he studied, whilst he was working as an electrical engineer, he studied astronomy. He passed his degree as an astronomer. He did his honors in astronomy. He eventually became one of the first, one of the few, the starting crew on the Solar Telescope in South Africa, in Sutherland, South Africa. And what got him that position? It wasn't his astronomy side, because a lot of other astronomers are far more qualified, far more experienced astronomers. But what got him started was the fact that he actually had a second part as an electrical engineer. So the two actually helped each other out. I mean, I started off my life working in IT. You don't know how much that actually helps me with what I do. I don't work in IT anymore. I work in public relations. I work in motivation. I work in mentorship. And I work in developing talent and finding kids and helping people out. But I also do a lot with IT that actually enables me to do my job better. Next week one is actually going to be about a younger kid, a 9-year-old prodigy, music prodigy. Just a nice fun one to listen to. And once again, it doesn't matter how old you are, you can always become can always do what you like. You can always find your calling. Some of us find our calling when we're 9. Some of us find our calling when we're in our 40s, like I am. It doesn't matter. Find your calling. Look for your calling. Start. It's never too late to start. Then other things that we had were, we had various speakers that I had talking, or various blog posts that I posted from other motivational speakers. I mean, massive motivational speakers. The one was Tony Robbins, and he was talking. It was on when he became rich. So what he talks about is a mind shift. It's a mind shift. Instead of just chasing money, to actually say, when I give, I can get back. And when I give, and I give, if I create opportunities for others, if I enable others to do what they need to do, I will get rewards from it. So in his one, he gives money to a little kid, so his little kid can take his mother out for dinner. He loans money to a friend where he doesn't know when he's going to get it back, and eventually gets that back. And since he trusts and believed in his friends, and he enabled his friend to do well, he got money back with huge amounts of interest. And that was the start of him actually learning how to grow himself and how to grow his business and how to grow as a person. And through that, the money automatically came in as a result of providing opportunities for others. The next interview was, the next chat was actually an interview that I did with Faisal. I mean, Faisal, he is so interesting. I'm sure you loved the interview. He speaks about the ultimate work management system that he's got in place. He talks about ClickFunnels. He talks about Agile. He talks about Kanban. He talks about mind maps. He talks about a whole lot of different avenues, a whole lot of different ways to actually get his system working, his system up, and how it can fit and how you can change to get your company to actually follow that. So this is the third in a row of business, very much business-focused interviews. Next week's interview is going to be completely different. And next week's interview is going to be it's going to be on bullying. So it's bullying in the office, bullying at school, where bullying starts, how to stop bullying, what to look for in bullying, how to approach it in the workplace, how to approach it in the home place. Bullying is quite an important thing nowadays, where a lot of sportswomen are talking about how they were bullied when they were younger, how they resolved their problems because of not accepting the bullying, how they struggled to get somewhere because of bullying, how they had huge setbacks because of bullying. And it is a fundamental part of life. We've in the modern day society, we have to accept a lot more different people, and that's fantastic, because we've got to accept people for who they are, what they are, how they are, if they look different, if they talk different, if they speak a different language, they come from a different place, especially because we live in a multinational world. The world is entirely open for everybody to communicate, to work with each other. And we got to accept each other if we want to get forward in life. And if we don't accept each other, we start bullying people because they're different to us. And we just learn that from a young age. How are we going to accept that at an older age, that we got to work with somebody that's different to me? So bullying is very important, and our speaker is fantastic at talking about bullying. That'll be coming next week, Wednesday. Then we've also got 6 Laws of the Mind by John Keogh. He goes through his laws of the mind, how your mind works, how your mind sends and receives information, how you process the information, how you accept the information, and how you actually train your mind to think differently. If you're born in a certain kind of world, a certain place, but you know that a certain way of thinking is incorrect, you can actually change that. It's up to you to sit there. It's imprinted in your mind that you think in a certain way because your culture tells you to think in that way. But you can change that. You don't have to accept that. You can change the way you feel and the way you react to certain things. Then there's lessons from Elon Musk, Joe Patterson, Aidan Watts, Simon Sinek, talking about the old normal and what might be the new normal. Things are going to change. I personally feel that we talk about huge change that's going to happen in the world. I think there is going to be change. I'm just beginning to see that some things are already slipping back to the old norm, and some things are changing to the new norm. Now, time will only tell if slipping back to the old norm is the right way, or slipping into a new norm and changing the way you do business will give you an advantage. I think a lot of things, personally, I feel that a lot of things are going to go back to the old way of doing things. But the guys that do approach and do actually work in the new way are the guys that actually are going to benefit the most. They might struggle up front because they might be ahead of their time, but at the end of the day, they're going to develop, and they're going to be the guys that are ultimately going to gain the most. John Timontini is talking about managing emotions, during times of crisis like at the moment, how you manage your emotions, how you deal with them. He's quite nice. I've got a nice little one about Bill Gates. I'm sure a lot of you have read it, but I'm reposting it now, where Bill Gates talks about his 5 summer books. So if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, what are the 5 summer books that he suggests, plus other books that he suggests reading now during the summer period. If you're in the Southern Hemisphere, well, who cares that it's not summer and that it's winter? We're also in lockdown. Read those books too. Have a look at those books. I will give you links to the books so you can purchase them through Amazon. You can purchase them as ebooks, or you can purchase them as hardcover books. But they're interesting books that you can actually buy. And then the newest thing that you'll see on my website, besides for the books that you can actually get, is that now I've got a partnership together with e-courses for you, and through that partnership you can actually get courses. You can buy courses that will help you in business, help you in life, help you in various aspects. So they're all MOOC courses. Yes, there's a cost to them, but you can learn, and a big part about developing yourself and going forward is actually learning. I will pull up the stats sometime in the near future, where I actually talk about how the majority of people are successful, the people that are billionaires, people are successful in various aspects of life. So money is not the only way to be successful, but look at those people and see what they do that's common. And the one thing they do that's common is they read and they study. You might not be somebody that likes to read books. You like video. You've got YouTube where you can actually watch and actually learn a hell of a lot. You've got audio books that you can listen to. You've got so many different avenues. You can do these online courses with all these different speakers that I've spoken about. They've all got courses online. You can listen to them in the car, and you can listen to them on the way to work. You can listen to them in the evenings. You can listen to them in the morning when you're actually sharp and your mind's open. But it comes down to the fact that the most important thing that everybody talks about is the fact that you have to learn and you have to move forward. The entire world moves forward, and if you don't move forward, you'll just stay behind and you'll stay in the same rut. I know I have got certain friends of mine in Nigeria that message me, or Bangladesh that message me, and they are not in an affluent kind of position. They can't just go and buy books online. There are libraries that they can go to. There are ways that they can actually find out information, or take advantage of a lot of these free courses, these free seminars that people are having. Listen to them. Part of a selling strategy, and I will discuss next week selling strategies and courses and seminars and the benefits of how to get stuff out of it. I have discussed it previously, but I'll discuss it again. But part of the thing about the selling process within a seminar is that people give you information, they sell you information, they tell you about all this free information, all these free ideas, and there actually is enough for you to initially start working on in that, for you to grow towards another, to grow your business, to grow your life, to grow your job to another level. You don't have to always spend money on buying things from these people. If you do have any questions, post them on Facebook, post them on Twitter, post them on YouTube, and I'll get back to you and I'll answer all your questions.